I hope you all enjoyed lunch. I sure did. That was fantastic. We're now ready to continue the program, and for this keynote, we have a very dear member of our Nordic blockchain family, Concordium, present with no one else but Erasmus, who has worked with AI, and he's going to share everything there is about the progress within this overlap. Personally, I find this to be like the main topic for me this year, because if you haven't heard, AI is the new atomic weapon. So it's pretty important, and of course, as the Nordic blockchain family, we need to understand everything that's going on. So that's why we invited Erasmus, and with no further ado, I'll give the floor to you. So thank you, sir, for being with us.
Thank you so much for that warm welcome, and of course for hosting all this and making all this happen. My name is Erasmus. I'm the Director of Product at Concordia, where we have been working on building a safer tomorrow for AI with what we call AI certificates. And I will explore a little bit more, explain a little bit more about what we're doing here. So, clicker issues, but I think we're here. I think we all know that there's been seen an incredible explosion in AI technologies and capabilities. There has been a land rush in adopting these technologies in all situations and guises. I think it's not unlikely that we're going to see a future where you will be on your dating app and you'll be having some kind of interaction with an AI avatar, an AI agent. You could also imagine you come in Monday morning with your cup of coffee, you're sitting there in the team call, and again, that situation where you'll be interacting with some kind of AI agent. And of course, on social media, we're going to see them in all places. Now, that will probably bring a lot of good, positive things. We'll be more efficient, the user experience will be better. There might be some psychological, healthier environments in many situations. But of course, as with all technology, it is a double-edged thing. And there's of course some real risks here. It can be used to undermine the integrity and the privacy of the individuals with the unlicensed deep fakes, for example. Misinformation is easy to spread with these kind of systems, and of course, there's just a good old school scam. Social engineering, where you simply just make the CFO do a money transfer into the wrong place. I think it's fair to say that we are living in a radically new trust environment online. They used to say that it's on the internet nobody knows you're a dog, and I think now that's definitely true. But you also don't know if you're an agent of the dog, or if it's a cat or a Terminator, or whatever is on the other side. Simply right now we don't have the infrastructure. There's no way to actually signal for those who are well-intentioned, who actually want to show that they have an AI agent, they have an AI avatar. There's no rails for them to actually put that out in the world and let other people also see that information. And that's an issue. So we are working on a solution that we call AI provenance certificates. So that's still a working title, so don't hold us to that. But it should give you some idea about what it is that we're trying to build here. So it's about creating transparency and accountability. We can sort of compare it to something like SSL certificates that we have for websites. If you're familiar with SSL certificates, you probably had this experience where you go into on your browser, you go into a website, and you will see a big fat red screen that tells you that this website is not secure, you should not enter there. And it's there's a whole infrastructure behind that sort of enables that experience. And we want to build something akin to that, where those who are delivering the AI services, they can actually tell more about the origins, where it comes from, and the people who are consuming and interacting with these interactive AI systems can also go for themselves and verify that data where it comes from. So, just doing a short a very brief dive into what the technology, what the solution is, what the technology behind the solution is. On one hand, we have one column here, which are verifiable credentials. Verifiable credentials, some of you may have heard of it, but it's a W3C standard, which basically allows for digital representation of attributes, of individual attributes, that you can then use to sort of prove that those attributes are valid. That's a very short version of that. There's a lot more to it. But the essential thing here is to say that in the context of these AI provenance certificates, we are using those credentials to show provenance. Where does the AI model come from? What is the origin trail? What kind of data went into it? Well, I'm not going to say what the data is, but a hash of that data. So there's an ability to sort of figure out where it comes from and tie that together with the actual parties that were involved in building that AI model. Furthermore, everybody who's involved in building this AI agent, they can also give their consent, and that's really important. They can actually say, yes, this has now permission to operate and to be active in this space at that time, and more importantly, you can also say you no longer have, it no longer has the approval from my side to actually operate in that space. So the ability to withdraw consent, which is also really important. On the other hand, we have decentralized ledgers, we have a blockchain, and that is used to manage the lifecycle of the certificate. So there will be a smart contract where the parties over here who partook in actually setting up the AI agent will also become signers on a smart contract, and thereby can withdraw their consent in a very public way. Furthermore, there's going to be a logging feature, so that basically can create accountability. It's going to be private, so there's not going to be any data leak. And because Concordium has an identity layer at its core, we're going to be relying on that identity object to actually help people reveal attributes that they find relevant for the AI agent trust scenario. Going to be using zero knowledge proofs for that as well to make sure that we don't reveal more information than is absolutely necessary. Let's try to make it a bit more tangible. I could imagine in the not too distant future, I'm going to be downloading a health app, and I'm going to have an interaction with an AI doctor. I come in and I'm going to share with them all that ails me, but I have no trust context here, right? I might be in the app and I trust the app, but I don't know who's delivering the AI service. I don't know anything about the doctor, if this is a digital twin of a real person, like what's going on. So this is what it looks like behind the scenes. I'll just spend a brief moment on that, and it'll all make sense in a second, I hope. I'm going to start up here in the left-hand corner. There's the AI service. They are the ones who provide the digital twin or the avatar infrastructure. That's all the data that they use to create that model, that global model. And I come in here, or the doctor comes in here as a creator and interacts with that AI service with some of their fine-tuning data. So, you know, a selfie of themselves, their whole knowledge base, whatever that could be. From there, a avatar gets created, and at the same time, this AI provenance certificate. Over here, it will on-chain be tied with a smart contract that will manage the life cycle. So again, if it's supposed to expire within a certain time, or if there's withdrawal of consent, all that can be managed on-chain. Now we go down here to the other lane, so to speak. We have the consumer coming in, the consumer platform. Let's say that's a meeting room somewhere. We have the consumer coming in and engages with the AI. And from there, they can basically for themselves verify the data that has sort of both the data and the people behind the AI agent. So it could look like something like this. So you come in and you start having the interaction, and at some point you decide to scan that QR code, And if you actually want to scan it, you can do it right now. It's just, we're still very early days, but that's just a Figma file where you can see what it's going to look like, but it's still kind of fun because there's going to be a little more detail than what's going to show you. But what comes up is then the verification page, where you can start getting a feel for what's going on. You can see that this is actually verified. It's live, it has permission now to be operating in this venue. You can see something about the creators. They have decided to remain anonymous, which is okay, because you can actually here dig in and see that they have been identified. So you know that somebody has gone through an identity check at some point. They've just chosen to not reveal their identity here, right? As a doctor, it might make sense for them to reveal themselves because it's their profession and it makes sense for trust, but in this case they haven't. But we can still see where they're from, Spain, Germany, and we can see the AI service that's behind it, that's based in Thailand. And then you can start digging in more into the details. So with all this, we get all the trust paraphernalia, the trust assets that you need to feel, to build trust online. This is very important. So, like I said, we are entering a radically new trust environment, and we're missing these infrastructures, these rails to actually transmit and receive these trust building assets, right? And this system will be able to do a lot of that. And there are, it should be said, there are some technologies trying to work in this space as well. But all of them, they focus mostly on the synthetic, sort of static media, the media that has already been produced, and to check whether that's deep fake or not, or they just add additional data to that. This solution is about getting identified access into the system, and at the same time making sure that it's about the liveness, that you can actually have that interactive element incorporated in the standard. In this presentation, I focused a lot around something very visual, digital twins. There's going to be a lot of different AI agents. There's going to be your personal assistant that is going to book your airplane tickets for you. There's going to be probably some kind of voice version for it. And this system, I just want to say, can be used in all those cases. Now, this is a standard. We are expecting to roll out a prototype implementation of this at the end of the summer. But we can only build this together as a community, and I just want to invite everybody, if you're interested in learning more about this, if you're interested in coming to build on this, please get in touch. The big question is if we have time for questions or not.
Yeah, you have time for a few questions.
Okay, brilliant. So, a hand flew up over there.
Yeah. Are you going to be compliant with the new EU EID wallet?
Hopefully. So there's a lot of stuff happening at the EU level. You have the EID, IDAS, and we also, of course, have the AI Act, which is also interesting in a different context. Because if you saw, this service gives the AI, this standard gives the AI services the ability to actually document what kind of data they put in there.
Yeah.
And that's going to be very important for them if they want to stay within the boundaries of this upcoming EU AI Act framework. So yes, we are having different conversations. We have two gentlemen here who is very active in the EU conversations, and we will continue there. Yeah, definitely. Are there any other questions? Yes, sir.
Do you think that this is going to be sustainable? Like Consensus has tried with blockchain identities in the past, with Uport and so on, but they haven't been able to create a system that was efficient enough to make it sustainable for longer time of use. Do you think that you're able to do that?
So, I mean, yes, we believe that. That is, of course, a hypothesis that we come in with. And I think because the need is so big for this specific use case, because somebody will have to make it sustainable, somebody will have to pay for this, yeah. Right? And the AI services have, as I just mentioned, they have such a regulatory burden that they're really struggling with right now, that they will be willing to pay for this. And because there's going to be an income stream here, then there's also going to be a sustainable ecosystem derived from it. But yes, we definitely see the challenge, and it's a valid one. But we do think that we have a few we have reason to be hopeful in that direction. Yes, thank you. Any other questions? Yes. Would you mind presenting yourself, by the way? So.
Sure. This is Daniel Jasso from the European Digital Economy Alliance. So we actually work in close contact with you, policymakers. I was wondering, you mentioned the AI Act, other European regulation. What is, from the perspective of an innovative company like yours, your thinking towards this type of regulation? AI Act, is it more a challenge or an opportunity? And do you want to see, if not regulation, what do you want to see more from you?
Politics, eh? So the question was, how do I relate? What do I think about the EU AI Act, and what would I think in terms of regulation would be appropriate here? That was
This is a minefield, you know.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would say that the EU AI Act, initially I was very skeptical, I must admit. I felt like it was shooting cannons at birds. But I do think that EU has to position itself as the responsible, the adult in the room, however expensive and difficult that's going to be. And I would say that I'm very hopeful in the way that the standards are being worked on in working groups with extremely talented and interesting people. And we are actually also looking to chime into that conversation, of course. But of course, regulation, as always, has its ups and its downsides, and I think it all comes down to how likely you think that AGI is going to be. That's a conversation for Dan Chaval, by the way. I have some thoughts on that. Yeah. Should we say that's it?
Let's say that's
All
it.
right. Thank you so much for your attention and your time. Again, don't hesitate to reach out, and thank you.